You're gonna be working with the #1 choreographer in Red Shore City.
Yuck! That is rubbish. So bad.
Ow, he's freaking me out.
Tippy toes. Tippy toes. I don't see your tippy toes.
Matthew, you've been in so many roles that I've loved over the years, but I gotta say, playing a koala bear salesman named Buster, my favorite. Wanted to
Really?
know. Yeah. How do you feel about koalas? And like, have you gotten to know more about these creatures?
I spent some time in Australia where they have koalas. I've seen and been around koalas in the wild. They're incredibly boring animals. They do nothing. They're cute in a snapshot, and that's it. You can look at them for days. There is no action sequence. So if you go see a koala and you get a good view and the light's nice and you focus for 10 seconds, you can move on. So they're not going to do anything else.
That's it.
So Buster's the most active koala that probably there is on the planet in the universe, because koalas are not like Buster at all.
Yeah, it's so true. They sleep like 18 hours a day, and Buster has this unrelenting optimism.
Yeah.
My favorite part in the film is when Buster's told he's never going to make it in the big city. And I was curious, did anyone ever say that to you when you were starting out as an actor? Did you ever feel that way?
No one ever said it. They said things like, you're going to need to change your name. Your name's too hard to pronounce.
Wow.
To succeed, you need to change your name. And I was like, well, that's non-negotiable. Then I won't make it. If that's the reason I don't make it, then I didn't pull it off. No one ever said you're not going to make it.
No.
There was a lot of, I can't believe you're doing that. I can't believe you drove west. I can't believe you're packing up your U-Haul with $2,000 and driving out west to go try and pull it off. But no one ever said you couldn't do it.
Did you ever feel like you couldn't?
No.
Wow.
If I did, I squashed that thought so quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I knew there was nothing constructive about the thought. I didn't know what, there's so many forms of what you could call succeeding in the business would be.
Yeah.
I'm still going through different formations of what am I calling succeeding in this business.
Right.
I mean, I just wanted to be in front of the camera, helping tell stories
Yeah.
in whatever way I could. And then I got very fortunate early on. My first 2 auditions in Hollywood, I got them.
Wow.
That pisses some people off. You know, they're like, you SOB. But it happened.
Yeah.
You know, I hustled my way, pulled some Buster Moon moves to get a few other roles where I laid out there and wrote some checks I wasn't sure I could cash.
Wow.
But bet on it and said, I'm going to take a chance, and pulled a few of those off. I gambled. I hustled. And then once I was in, tried to do my best to preserve what I had, but also not just be safe with it. To still keep taking chances and say, well, just keep doing if you can do what you love to do and you can do your best at it, if that sustains me, then that sustains me. And if it doesn't, at least I know why I did that. I know why I chose that role. I know why I took that job. I had an experience. When I started dealing with the process more than being given a damn about the result, I got a lot more results.
Yeah. I love that. How do you squash those thoughts and like get past that negativity on the way?
I just do the math. There's not one constructive thing about them. There's no asset to the thought. It's nice to be introspective. It's nice to have doubts.
Right.
It's nice to go, how could I improve? But to use the words, to think you can't pull something off that you really love to do. I don't see there's any math that adds up to that ever being an asset. Unless it pisses you off. Because rage can make some things happen. Working against something, like taking revenge against that thought.
Right.
To eliminate that thought because you hate that thought so much. That can be an asset.
Yeah, but I love what you said. The doubt, it's like math. It's not serving you. And I feel like your sort of guts and that inner knowing that you have, like about your own career, really shines through Buster. And what I love about voice acting is there's nothing self-conscious about it, right?
Nothing.
Like you can be in pajamas.
Yep.
So can you set the stage for us and tell us what the setting was like and what you wore when you were stepping into Buster?
I did it from my studio in Austin, Texas.
In your house?
Yeah.
Nice.
At my office. That's one of the great things. You don't even have to think about what you're wearing. So I don't know what the hell I was wearing. Didn't care. You don't need to look in the mirror when you're doing voice work. Here's the great thing, and you said it. There's nothing self-conscious about it. Yeah. Try and screw up. You can't. Say the line in Spanish. Say it backwards. Say it forward. Whisper it. Yell it. Whatever. Do what you. The digital tape is rolling. It's not costing anything. Yeah. Try it. And sometimes coming off a mistake will provide the chuckle that leads into the next read. That's the one.
Wow.
You know.
I love that. Just go for it. And you were doing it at home. Your kids are at home, and I know they were a huge fan of their papa being in the first film. And did they give you any advice, feedback while you were recording at home for this one?
They did. They did when they snuck in there. I'd let them listen. And then my daughter Vita got a couple lines in this movie. And then Garth gave them a tour in France at the studio of how the movie's getting made and everything. So they were more involved in the process of making this one than the first one.
Wow. Did you listen to any music to get into Buster or to get in the mood for this song, for Sing 2?
No. Once I found the music of who he is and the music of how he attacks life and approaches conflict and tries to overcome things, I tapped into that music of him in the first one.
Wow.
Remember when I first started to go back and do Sing 2, I had to go back and watch the first one again just to find that music again. And once I found his music, that's really, like his approach and attack on things is different than mine. My voice builds down, sort of relaxing on the end. Buster's is always going up.
Yeah.
I gotta go do this. I'm gonna make it happen. So he's always moving forward, always on the outro, on the extroverted side to make it happen, to inspire or take action, which is different than my rhythm or my music. But so as soon as I tapped back into it, as soon as it caught my ear.
Love it. Yeah, you have to like almost like jump up and be like physical with that stuff to bring it up because I'm the same way.
I would break a sweat in the recording sessions. Yeah.
I love that. Best workout in the game. So I'm so curious to know, what was your number one listened to song of the year?
I'll tell you this. I've been listening to a lot of Chuck Berry.
Why?
A lot of Chuck. Just let the kids hear another era, another guitar, another version of rock and roll. It's hard to find good rock and roll these days.
It is.
And I miss good rock and roll. Yeah. I miss the Cult. I miss AC/DC. I miss the Chuck Berry. I've also been listening to a lot of Dylan, who just cracks me up. He's a great comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever podunk town they crawled out of, that's where they belong.
I got you, moonlight. We cannot let that bully steal our hopes and dreams.
Guts, faith, these are the things you need now.
Everyone's posting on social their top streamed song of the year. What was your number one song?
Song of the year?
Yeah, that you listened to the most this year.
Oh man, I need to like pull up my Spotify. I'm like, what have I been listening to? I've been really obsessed with this artist named Yeba recently, and she like kind of put out her album more recent, so it wasn't like all year because it just came out. But she's amazing. It was like the most inspiring album to me this year.
I'm now gonna.
Yeba.
Yeah.
I'm trying. My year was so strange. I'm like
I know.
trying
What were we
to
listening
remember what I was listening to this year. Gosh, it's hard to say. I feel like
Sing soundtrack.
What? The things that no, I feel like I listen to a lot of. I'm trying to like think what I like read. I feel like I've been listening to like comfort music. I feel like I've been listening to like the Fugees again.
Ooh.
By the way, I think are going on tour.
Oh.
You heard it here first.
No, I think they
Now
are.
you're announcing it.
They are, I think.
Oh my gosh,
I know.
I'm there.
Me too.
Scarlett Johansson announces Fuji tour.
It's like no, girl.
No,
My
I'm
anger.
messing with you. I'm
No,
messing
they
with
are.
you.
They are. I know they are because my brother looked it up because he
Oh my
told me, and I was like,
gosh.
my dream. Yeah, I've been
Yes.
just going back to the basics. And the last 2 years, I think I've just been listening to every like comforting thing from my from my youth.
Yeah, well, the music in this movie is really comforting. Like, you leave this film and you're just like, like I was like playing Shawn Mendes on the way home.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about how it's called Sing, and I wanted to ask the both of you, why do you sing? And like, how has it changed your life?
For me, I can't picture my life without singing or without music really in general. I think like whenever I'm asked like, what would you do if you weren't a singer? I'm immediately like, well, it would still be something in music, I guess. It just would be singing, because I think it's just so ingrained and so embedded in my life, in my family's life too. It was just such a part of my childhood. So singing is, it's kind of, it's everything. I think I have to remind myself too of like that's not your whole identity. You know, I think as performers, it's easy to like latch on to that and be like, that's the scary thing. It's like I'm just a performer, or like that's where you get your self-worth. And I think that's where it can get just like unhealthy. It's like you have to remember like, no, you're like a whole person. You're deserving just as you are without any of that stuff. And I'm getting really deep, but yeah, to answer your question, it's a huge part of my life.
I love that. I contain multitudes. What about you, Scarlett?
I grew up with watching a lot of musicals, like Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals and Judy Garland musicals, and that's where I discovered like my passion in performing and acting. And, you know, I didn't know what it was exactly, and it's been a really interesting journey to continue growing as an actor. But certainly singing, when I was younger, singing, dancing, acting for stage, all of that stuff was just a humongous part of my pleasure, you know, and my form, and like the way I expressed myself and what I did after school, and like what I, you know, it was a passion, and then that led me to where I am now.
Which is singing a U2 song in a movie with Bono.
Yeah.
What was it like singing U2 songs, and what was it like hearing it back?
Very surreal. It's like when Garth told me I was singing Stuck in a Moment, and then they were like, we're sending over the demo. I was like, I don't need the demo. I know the song. It's my like 13-year-old dream come true. We recorded it in such isolation that in my mind, like I didn't really think about it that much, because I was like excited to see people like in the recording studio, which were like behind 4 panes of glass. And then, and I was just thinking, okay, I'll just like, I've been singing it in my car, and I'm going to sing it, you know, and record it. And just didn't feel, I didn't think about like that the general population would then be, you know, hearing it all together, or how it would sound with Bono. It just, now I'm starting to get nervous about it. But to me at the time, it just seemed like, oh yeah, I of course I got this. I know this song. But yes, it's very surreal.
Did you talk to Bono, or did he talk to you after listening to your rendition of "I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For"?
I did. Yeah,
They're best friends.
Yeah, because you guys have known each other for a while.
We have, yes. We've known each other for a long time. We're total besties. With the Fugees, and we're all going on tour. No,
I'll be there.
No, he did text me, but it was just, I think because at the time it was such a secretive thing that like he was going to be doing it, and that we got these U2 songs, and that I just didn't feel like I could really reach out. I just didn't know who knew what. Of course he knew.
Wait, he texted you, but you didn't text him?
I probably didn't text him back.
That's such a rock star move. It's too cool.
No, I probably was just terrified.
But he didn't say anything to you after hearing it?
He did. And I think I probably forgot to respond because I was too scared.
Bono, if you're watching this.
Aw. Well,
that's how I get it. If somebody gives me a compliment, I'm like, go away, don't look at me.
Same. I know. You turn into Mina, right? You're just, have the ears,
For
which
sure.
I wanted to ask you about because it's interesting when you said it was very like an insular experience in the beginning. I know that you recorded a lot of this stuff from your home studio because a lot of it was in quarantine. How did that lend itself to like Mina's shyness?
Well, I think there was like one session that we did do like from home, because I was like, I have a studio, like I didn't want to like, have to wait super long, so I just kind of offered it. I was like, I could record stuff if you guys want, and so we did. It'd be interesting actually to find out like which actual parts were done from my studio. I don't know how I would be able to figure that out, but it was cool just being at home, like in my sweats, and even when we would go in, to record parts in their studio, it was just like relaxing. I think just kind of echoing what she said, it's like you feel like safe and like it's not really a big deal. It's like we're just singing some songs and we're just being shy and, you know, saying lines. And Garth Jennings, our director, just makes it so comfortable and easy. So then seeing it all come together, it's like, wait, we did that? Like, that's what we made? So it's this really surreal thing getting to see the final result of just all that hard work. You know, hard work mostly on their part, the people actually animating it and everything. But yeah, it's really cool.
You will never be great, Johnny.
Reese, congratulations on this film.
Thank
you know how
you.
people have been posting on social media their most listened to song of the year?
Yeah.
What was your number one song?
Oh, it's really dorky.
What is it?
That's why I didn't post it. I listen to like rainforest sounds while I sleep. That was my most listened to.
You just like play it all night? That's amazing.
I do.
I love that.
It really helps.
I play white noise all night, and
Yeah.
I'm like, is this normal? Was there ever a role you had in your career that you were scared to take at first, but now you're really glad you did?
So many. The two that come to mind were playing June Carter Cash and Walk the Line was really scary to me because I'd never sung on film before. So I trained for 6 months, but still we got to our performance days and I wanted to throw up because I was so nervous. And the other one is doing the movie Wild. Definitely that was the most physically challenging movie I've ever done, walking 1,000 miles on the PCT alone with this giant backpack. And there was a lot of really like just stuff in there that I was scared to do, but it was really a great sense of accomplishment when I was able to do it.
I remember reading that you were like, I had to do so much on my own in that movie.
Yeah.
Which is, how did you push through those obstacles and
Well,
just like go for it in both of those roles?
Yeah, I mean, for Wild, I'm such a performer that's so verbal, and there was almost no dialogue.
Yeah.
So much of my movies have been me talking in 100 miles an hour, and then I had nothing and no one to talk to. And it was nerve-wracking, to be honest, to just be alone on film.
Yeah.
But getting through it, and I was so passionate about Cheryl Strayed's story, was real. I don't know, it really centered me in a different way as an actor and made me feel like I could accomplish different kinds of roles.
Yeah, which you have in common with Rosita.
Yeah.
And Rosita has 25 kids.
Yeah.
She's balancing like family and going after her dreams.
I was just thinking that's a lot of food and that's a lot of laundry.
Yeah. Oh my God.
25
so much
kids,
laundry.
that's a lot of that's just logistics. Like you're running an army.
Well, you have a family and you're following your dreams. So how do you balance?
I have 3 kids. Sometimes it feels like an army.
Just
Especially like when we travel anywhere. It's like there's a lot of us. There's a lot of luggage. But yeah, I think this character really, I just love Rosita because she's a mom and she has dreams. And, you know, she hasn't stopped being human just because she has children.
Right.
And I think it's really cool that her husband supports her dreams and helps encourage her. And I always love that they incorporate the kids being excited when she performs. It makes me so happy.
Yeah. How do you strike that balance? Because I feel like so many people watching this are going to relate to that, right? It's not just like moms, it's anyone. We're always trying to balance like work life and our personal lives. So how do you find that balance? Because you do so much.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my kids always come first, but I love my work and they know that I love my work. And they are really supportive. Even sometimes it's hard when I travel or I'm gone for a while. I also have an incredible husband who is so supportive, so nurturing, so encouraging, and is probably my biggest fan. So that really helps. I think it's hard being a mom anyway, because you have these feelings of being torn at the same time, wanting to be home and wanting to pursue your dreams. So I think this character is really going to resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, and I love that because sometimes people feel guilty and it's like, no, you don't have to feel guilty. Like you can do all of
Yeah,
it.
I know. It's something odd about, every time you're away from your kids, you feel guilty, but it's very real, right? But we still have to remember that we're human beings at the end of the day, and it's so important to encourage women to dream big.
Yeah, and I think you do that through Rosita in this film because you're not only an actress, you're also a producer. So I'm curious, how do you think Buster is doing as a producer in this film? Like, what is he doing really well?
You know what? He knows all his players, and he's always encouraging them. And that's what I love about Buster Moon is he's almost like the greatest coach.
Do you feel like you bring that a lot in the projects that you do and stuff?
I do. I've had to learn to be a producer. It wasn't my first career. It's been kind of a second chapter for me, and I love it. I love finding out what people's real strengths are, and putting great teams together is one of my favorite things to do.
Well, thank you for doing it, because we all love watching everything that you put out into the world. It is so good.
It makes me so happy. I'm so lucky. I have the greatest job ever.
You really do. If you could make anything that you've done before into a musical that isn't already a musical, what film would you make into a musical?
Maybe Election. I think that'd be funny. Cruel Intentions. They made that a musical, and I went to see it. It was like on a theater, like way on the east side of LA. It was so funny, and the '90s music was so fun.
So good.
So that was definitely a cool one.
Oh, I love that.
All I hear is Matthew.
Is Laura?
Matthew.
Did you get to work with him actually?
We've done 3 movies together. Every single movie, we're never in the same place.
In the same room.
We did a movie called Mud together, but we were never in the same set. And then we did these 2 movies, Sing 1 and Sing 2. And we were talking yesterday, we're like, we got to do a real movie together. It'd just be too fun. We're really good friends.
Yay.
And our families are really good friends.
I love that. I noticed that you sing another Taylor Swift song in this film. Did you get to call Taylor or ask her about?
I did tell Taylor.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, we're gonna put another one of your songs in our movie. But I'm just so in awe of everything she's done. And the other thing I think is really cool about Taylor is, first of all, she's so outspoken and it's amazing. And she's so infinitely creative, but also she's inspired so many young women to write their own music. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for Olivia Rodrigo.
I know, right? Olivia Rodrigo and so many others.
Is Laura Dern answering your FaceTimes now?
Girl. That Laura Dern does not pick up enough. She picks up every 7th call. But no, I don't know. You know, people, the internet is coming for her.
Do you think it's an Aries thing? Because I'm also so impatient. It's my pet peeve when people are posting on Instagram
God,
and they don't
so
answer
impatient.
my phone.
I'm so impatient. It's really a problem. That's what I'm gonna really work on. That's my New Year's resolution. Be more patient with Laura Dern.
We just gotta be brave now.
Wrong again! Again!
This movie. It was the best rock concert I have ever been to for the least amount of money.
I was cheap but cheerful, thank you.
It was cheap and cheerful. It was so good. You are the writer and director of this film. You must listen to so much music.
Yes.
So I'm so curious to know, what was your #1 listened to song of the year?
Oh, do you know what? I know that because it was on my Spotify. Although I have Spotify and iTunes, I don't know what it is on iTunes. But on Spotify, I'm pretty sure it was A Hero's Death by Fontaine's DC.
Hero's Death by Font. Why'd you listen to that the most?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for kind of like a get up, get started song, it's just relentlessly positive, but also kind of aggressive.
Wow.
I love that track. I can't quite, you'll check it out when you get back.
I will. You know, when I left the theater watching this movie, I was blasting Shawn Mendes because that song just makes you just...
I love that song.
Yeah, there's nothing holding you back.
Yeah.
I was so curious. I wanted to ask you, do you hear a song and you're like, this has to be in the movie and write around it? Or do you start with the writing first and then hit the music?
Usually the latter, as in writing first and then finding a song. But then there are a couple of songs that I've known for years where I'm like, I have to find a place. One of those was Soy Yo. I love Soy Yo by Bombo Stereo. And we kept trying to find places for it. I don't normally do that, but and then when we had this big kind of chase sequence towards the end of Act 2, this sort of escape sequence.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, that's where it goes. And once we put it in and also worked with an orchestra and a choir to sort of build on it.
Wow.
Oh man, that song means the world to me. I love it. Yeah.
You're killing it. This movie just gives you all the feels in so many ways. It's like, I can't even believe that you were able to top the first Sing. I mean, you already had a stellar cast, and now you're adding people like Pharrell and Bono. What was it like casting Bono?
It was great. I mean, it's sort of surreal, isn't it, that we're even talking about this? But yeah, no, he's been that U2's music means the world to me. So to be working with him and their songs to serve this kind of very emotional story, that really is as good as it gets. Yeah.
How did you go about casting him?
It literally was our dream first and only choice. You know, we had this idea for a character that he was this legendary rock star, iconic, but he'd been a recluse for 15 years. He was a lion, and Bono had seen the first film, and when he saw the design and what the character's sort of journey was, he just connected with it and called up, and we had a conversation about music, and oh, it's just lovely. And he just came on board and even wrote a new song for us. I didn't even ask for it. He just did it. He was like, he was so passionate about the idea of music saving someone's life because he feels like his own life was saved by music. It means the world to him. So he wrote this song, and it's really beautiful. And I'm staggered by the final result. He was amazing.
It is staggering. That's a great word. One of my favorite characters is actually a character that you voice. Not only do you write and direct this, but you voice Miss Crawley. I love how you use her eye as a storytelling device.
The glass eye.
Yeah.
Very useful.
I'm like, how did Garth come up with that? And is she inspired by anyone in your life?
She's not, no one actually in my life, but certainly characters, like there's a character in England from an old TV comedy series played by Julie Walters called Mrs. Overall, used to be this older lady who would come in with a tea trolley, go, and I loved her, and all kinds of kind of doddery characters I just love. I don't know where the glass eye comes from. I don't know. I'm just a bit strange, I guess. That just seemed like a natural idea, but it was great to sort of, in the first film, that eye actually is part of the plot. In this one, it just keeps doing all kinds of weird things. It's used as a wheel. It falls out and gets replaced by an apple. Bono's character gets to give it back to, it's moved, it gets a lot of, it has its own journey, that eyeball. Yeah.
Honestly, I would watch a spin-off called Miss Crawley's Eyeball.
Crawley's
I'm down
Eyeball.
for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Speaking of, Sing 2 is going to be massive. I think even bigger than Sing 1. How many Sing stories do you want to tell? Like, have you thought of what you would write for Sing 3 or Sing 4?
There could be a Sing 3, Sing 4, Sing 5, Sing 6, Sing 7, Sing 8, yeah, Sing 9, Sing 10.
It'd be like the
Sing
Kids
11,
Bop version
Sing
of
12.
movies.
Yeah, I mean, you'd skip 13 because of,
Yeah, no, you
bad,
can never do
bad
13.
vibes. But no, I think otherwise it could go on forever.
Yeah. Have you thought of like a Sing 3 or?
There's an idea for it, but I wouldn't be doing it. I would take a back seat and let someone else drive that one.
Why?
Why? It's time to do something else.
Yeah?
Yeah, and also it's good to let other people do stuff, like
Aw.
breathe new energy, new perspectives into it.
What do you want to do next?
Live action film. I'm dreaming of my next project, yeah.
Live action Sing in Vegas.
Not quite. Yeah.
This movie's so much about, it's just bigger in so many ways. Bigger cast, bigger singing.
I know, it's nuts.
It's a bigger show. What was the biggest thing you took away from this movie, personally?
The biggest thing I took away, well, I was just so happy at the end. The most profoundly moving thing about the whole process is that the feeling that audiences get at the end is everything I hoped for. And that's a big deal when you're making something like this over so many years and it's so fragmented,
right, that
when it's all put together, that it really does give you the feelings that we wanted people to experience, and not just in the theater, but take away with them.
Yeah.
You leave with that feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. That's the thing I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
That feeling is there at the end.
I always feel like I resonate with Johnny's storyline the most in the first one and this one. How do you pick like what struggle or what the story arc is going to be for each character?
Well, I don't know how that started. There always these characters discussions with Chris Meledandri always begin as like, wouldn't it be great if, or, oh, I could imagine this. They're very sort of playful chats.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to take Johnny up a notch and like see him dancing, like see him really performing. Do you know what I mean? And that noise was the sound of all the rain in California falling at once around us.
This is so funny.
Yeah. Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
For a moment there, you and I were like, are we just gonna just sail away on a wave?
Did you cue that?
I didn't cue that.
It was like magical.
I know.
You're like Buster Moon right now. You're just like making it all happen.
Yeah.
Is there a character in Sing that is just the most fun to direct?
Oh, what you mean, the actor or the character?
The actor.
The actor. They're all very funny and delightful. Honestly, they are so different as well. If we had like lots of people of the same kind of personality, it would be different. But they're all so different.
Yeah.
Matthew's energy is totally different to, say, Scarlett's personality. But they all have this really unique way of just coming in and owning that character. And then there are certain people that are just so funny, I can't actually be in the room with them because I'll ruin the take, like Nick Kroll or Eric Andre. You can't stick around when they're doing their thing because they're just too funny.
I don't suppose any of you can tap dance, huh?